But guys, the rain has stopped now at the end of lap 16. And I'm going...
Williams have made a call to come into the pits, so they'll be hoping for a fast turnaround.
Yes, we are. But guys, I'm going for the gamble of the century. We're coming in and fitting the slick tires. Because the rain is stopping, the rain has stopped, there's no more rain coming, and the track is going to dry out really quickly.
Our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Turbo Fox Racers and to our Road to Glory F1 22 career mode, driving alongside Alexander Albon for Williams Racing. Now guys, heading in towards this episode, we are heading towards a brand new track to the F1 calendar, a track that wasn't received very well in real life by pure F1 fans, but hopefully it's a bit more ideal to race on in the game, and hopefully it's a bit more fun and not so boring. But we are heading towards the US of A's, and we are here for the Miami Grand Prix. Now guys, I haven't driven this track much. Did a few laps in time trial, maybe here and there a bit online, but I haven't driven this track much, to be deadly honest with all of y'all. So this is going to be a very interesting part of the season, and I'm figuring out setup and all those types of glamorous, beautiful things for this track is not going to be the easiest of things. So, excuse me for talking over Jeff there. Well, not Jeff, but whoever, Carl, whoever that is. He just let us know that our upgrades are in and ready for this weekend. And as you guys can see, we're focusing predominantly more on rear downforce. But I want to try and do the rear and front downforce like kind of together. So the next upgrade I'll be going for is this minor front downforce one, just to keep the car at a good equilibrium. Then also chassis upgrade is in. Weight redistribution is going to be the next thing on my list, even though I don't have enough to afford that at this moment. But that is where we are going. This car is very unstable mid-corner, and also this wheelie has got a lot of drag. So that's something that we're going to have to sort out. So weight redistribution, weight reduction, and drag reduction, that's going to be a big thing. But you guys can see we've got one error upgrade waiting for us and two reliability upgrades. Once again, the parts have come through without any issue, and I'm a very happy guy with that. Now guys, once again, heading into this episode, we are still trying to get onto the back of wonderful Aston Martin and McLaren. And for a split second there, it looks like we are ahead of Aston. But it's very clear that they've got a very rich boss, and the upgrades just keep flowing. Because the more I try to catch up to them, the harder it gets. And once again, we drop down to last place. And luckily the cylinder head is in, so that's a big engine upgrade for ourselves. At this stage I was just like, we need the weight redistribution. There's no point in going for anything else but that upgrade. It's important we get that upgrade in. Or do we go for the central under tray? No. I thought we went for the engine cover, the weight redistribution. That is very, very important. Guys, that's basically where we are now. The front flaps have been in, so the car's downforce is going to be all nice and dandy for this weekend. Suspension geometry upgrade is in. It's been a good episode for upgrades. I'm not going to lie, it's been a pretty nice episode for upgrades. But now we are heading in towards the Miami Pirelli Hot Lap Challenge, the Autocross. And guys, I'm not going to lie, of all the challenges you can do with the supercars, this is definitely by far my favorite. It's the most frustrating as well if you get something wrong, but it's by far the most fun. I would be lying if I said that it's not. So you guys can see going through all these gates. Basically, if you hit one of the bollards of the gate, you get a 5 second, you get added 5 seconds on your time, so it's basically a 5 second penalty. If you miss a gate completely, you will get a 10 second penalty. So you can't just go, freaking balls to the wall, just plant the throttle and go all crazy, because that's not going to work. You're just going to miss so many gates, and you're going to end up doing a 60-minute, autocross challenge. So you guys can see this is my first run, if I'm not mistaken, or is this the one that I actually made it? I can't exactly remember, but you guys can see it. I think this is the one that I made, so the one that I completed. But it's very fun, and it's not as easy as it looks at this stage. You really need to be on your best focus, and we are currently driving the McLaren Artura, which I didn't think would be such a fun car to drive, but I really enjoyed driving this car. And there you guys can see I was a little bit hesitant to put my foot down, so I hit the brakes a bit, because you never know when they start, swerving like this, like an unlimited chicane. But yeah, that was the autocross challenge, and I can clearly see this is the one that I finished. But trust me, it took me a few attempts. It wasn't just like wham, bam, thank you, wham. The first attempt and you've got it. And no, that is not what happened. But luckily, we get our 1,000 acclaim, and heading in towards this weekend, we're looking at the performance index, and you guys can see Ferrari are still running away with the performance so far. We've got Red Bull and Mercedes basically on the same pixel. So Mercedes are going to be a force to be reckoned with from this point onwards in the season. Alpine and Alfa Romeo are sitting pretty, with Haas actually fighting for P4 to 6. So those three teams are separated by almost nothing. McLaren have jumped AlphaTauri in the performance index. So they are 7th, AlphaTauri are 8th, Aston Martin on 9th, and we are still 10th, upgrading at the same speed as Aston Martin, but not getting that little bit of an advantage. But teams currently struggling with upgrades are the Honda power teams, Red Bull and AlphaTauri. Everybody else seems to be upgrading all fine, but Red Bull and AlphaTauri are very much struggling. And don't care about Red Bull that much, but considering one of my favorite drivers, Pierre Gasly, they need to sort something out there at AlphaTauri. But yeah, guys, that's just a few little blips that I had in practice. Obviously, driving the track properly for the first time. Obviously, there were some mistakes that were going to creep in. That was one where I had a little bit of rear wing and floor damage, and then this was just a silly old spin. What I wanted to say as we were heading into as we are now in qualifying, guys, figuring out the setup for this track was not the easiest of things, I'm not gonna lie. The cars are really twitchy, and with some of these sweeping corners, they tend to just, go all willy-nilly on a person. So to figure out the setup was very hard, and I eventually opted for a medium downforce setup, which for the race was going to be hard, because there's a lot of high-speed sections here, a lot of places where you just bang on 100% on the throttle and basically curved straights, if I can put it that way. So I think we've got a long race ahead of us, but we'll try our best to see what we can get going for ourselves. As this is now our second run in Q1, and you guys can see the middle sector, I'm all nice and dandy. The first and third sector, I'm a bit slow because of the downforce, and also this car is very draggy and very heavy. So the straights were really an issue, and when you guys look at the previous run in Australia, I wasn't too bad in the straights, but that's because everybody was running high downforce. Here everybody's running low downforce except for myself. So that was going to be an issue, but we managed to get up into P12 for our second run, and now we've only got time left for one more run, and by the end of qualifying we are down to P14. But let's go for a lap around this beautiful Miami GP circuit. And you guys can see the first sector is very odd. It's very tight and twisty. But this next section, I have to say, I do enjoy. Mount the curb on the inside, and then once again to that side. It's just a very fast-flowing S, and you guys know, I'm a big fan of Pouon at Spa. So those corners to me feel phenomenal. Going down this little back section, now it might be curved, but it's flat out all the way to the middle part of Sector 2. So here is where I lost a bunch of time, but with DRS is open, we head towards this next section. Now this section of the track absolutely sucks. I don't enjoy this part of the track at all. It's too slow, it's too tight, And in these modern cars that are so heavy already, it's not fun to drive because it feels like an F2 car. So you throw it through these freaking hell oddly shaped chicanes, and then coming out here under the bridge alongside the highway, you just plant your foot, and it's one immensely long back straight, and it gives me a lot of Baku feels, but that's about it. So I like the first sector, and that's about it of this track. And this is going to be a track that's going to be hard to grow on me, but I mean, it's a new track, so let's give it a go. Maybe the racing is fantastic. So coming towards the end of our lap, through the final hairpin and the final two corners, which are also flat out, and we come across the line and we are in P. Oh boy, I think we're out in Q1. I think that is the way we are going, my guys and gals. So P14, is it a miraculous P15? No, it's not, because that's Guan Yu Zhou. So out in qualifying is Ricardo, Albon, myself, Vettel, and who's else? Oh, Mick Schumacher. Wonderful. Guys, it's going to be a long Grand Prix. There's even rain expected, but let's head to the Miami GP.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series, numerous rock concerts, and now, for the first time, Formula One. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Perez, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon, and Kevin Magnussen, Norris, Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, and Joe, Stroll, Ricciardo, Alex Albon, and O'Connor, Vettel, and Mick Schumacher. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Guys, are you guys ready for the Miami Grand Prix for the first time ever here on Turbo Fox Racers? Now guys, as you guys can see, there's some rain looming overboard. And that is something that we are going to have to watch out for, but also the rain can be a blessing in disguise if we time it correctly. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to start on the mediums because I think they'll go long enough until the rain hits, because usually the rain hits earlier than predicted. Hopefully that trend stayed in the F1 game. But we're starting on the mediums. There's not really a strategy because of the rain that is indefinite to come. It's going to be here. Going a little bit lower fuel because we're expecting a safety car. So let's get it. Enjoy the formation lap.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
are you guys ready for the Miami Grand Prix? Here we go. It is time to take to this track as we head to 5 red lights. And it's go for the Miami Grand Prix. It's a Ferrari front row lockout with Mercedes and Red Bull a little bit squiggly on the second and third rows. Oh, Sainz and Leclerc make contact. I think that is Sainz who's broken his front wing. It is already getting heated in the Ferrari garage. But Sainz is second with Leclerc first. Third, you've got Max Verstappen. No, it's actually Perez. Third, Verstappen fourth there, followed by the 2 Mercedes and the Alpine of Fernando Alonso. But that is heartbreak for Carlos Sainz. That is honest heartbreak for the Spaniard. I mean, what an absolutely terrible way to start the Miami GP. And he is actually trying to get himself into this championship. But it's not happening on the easiest fashions. So Sainz is going to have to make an early pit stop. And that is going to make the rest of his race very, very, very hard. But it's Perez P3, Verstappen P4. Like I said, Verstappen has got some work to do. But we jump back on our POV for our start. And you got to see, I actually get a fairly decent start, unlike previous episodes. And the inside is just open. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Nobody is defending. So let's get going. We jump all the way up into P13 from P18 as we now sit behind Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda in the McLaren and the AlphaTauri. But we are under pressure from the second AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, and I have to go a very quick defensive route there. But we keep Gasly right behind us as we now try and stick with Lando Norris. Guys, excuse the little jump there in the recording. There's nothing I can do about that. That is just a silly PlayStation. As you guys can see now, we are still under pressure from Gasly as Norris is putting Gasly's teammate Tsunoda under pressure. And Norris just leaves himself open from the outside. That is actually a little bit of a silly mistake from the Brit, as we are now sitting behind Tsunoda. And actually Tsunoda has made a move on Magnussen, so it's Magnussen we are now behind. But we jump back to the leaders as Leclerc's already pulled out a 1.4 second gap on his teammate Carlos Sainz. Perez is very close behind the Spaniard, with Verstappen also following close behind. But the 2 Red Bulls will soon be released into P2 and P3 when Sainz has to do this and come into the pit lane. One thing I have to say though, this is kind of a nice pit lane. I like this whole chicane type entry. It's actually pretty cool. I enjoy it. But Sainz is in and he will fall to last place and will have to have one monumental drive to get back into this race. And I think Sainz is hoping for a safety car. I think that's the long and the short. Sainz is hoping for a safety car. But we'll have to see if that does indeed happen. The previous round in Australia, we had 3 safety cars, so anything and everything is possible. We quickly have a little replay of the move that I made on Lando. And going through this very tight air section, guys, this feels terrible in these modern cars, I'm not going to lie. But Magnussen leaves his inside wide open, and we just put our nose up the inside. A little bit of contact was made, but nothing too hefty. And we are now into what's that, P11 if I'm not mistaken, but it's not going to be P11 for very much longer. As you guys can see, Magnussen is just a bullet in a straight line. Once again, like I talked about in qualifying, downforce for me was a kind of a thing. So we're just trying to do our best and hope for the best. But here we go. We actually defend from Magnussen. We went for a dive up the inside. The one nice thing is about high downforce is I can brake really late because I have trust that the car's going to stop. But we are actually up into P10 now because remember Sainz pitted, so we are in the points paying positions as we go to the inside to fend off Magnussen. Back to the inside line, very beautiful defense there from the Dane, and we stick it in, we stay in P10 as we now try to just stay within DRS of Yuki Tsunoda to have some extra defense from Magnussen, but it doesn't seem to be happening as Magnussen tries to go for another the inside, but he has a monumental lockup on the left front and he just goes straight on. Let's have a replay from onboard Magnussen's car. It's actually the right front that has the lockup and just sends him straight on. But that was kind of the easiest defense I've ever had to make. So thank you, K-Mag. But guys, just going through that sector, we've already lost DRS touch to Yuki Tsunoda. And that is basically enough to leave us a sitting duck. You guys see, I defend very harshly there to Lando Norris. I'm still getting used to the aggressive AI on this year's game, so I'm trying to be a little bit aggressive myself. But I'm still trying to find the limits. But we defend from Lando. We are still in P10, but now Tsunoda is long gone. He is long gone in that AlphaTauri, and come on around the outside tries Norris and Magnussen and we just stick to the inside, give them the squeeze, and that is us still in P10. But Norris and Magnussen are not gonna, just let this go, as there's yellow flags in this sector. Don't know what's going on there, but it looks like one of the Aston Martins is going slowly. It must be Stroll, because Vettel is a little bit more ahead than that on the mini-map. But, yep, I think that is Lance Stroll. And there's a yellow flag now in front of us. What is going on here? It is Lance Stroll that's out of the race. But, that's Esteban Ocon. That is Esteban Ocon, and that just gave me an absolute heart attack. The other drivers didn't see Ocon, and...
Speed, our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Okay, guys. So the safety car has been deployed, exactly what Carlos Sainz wanted, but that little instance with Ocon, I was lucky there. The other drivers didn't see him, but luckily they slowed down. Ocon and Stroll are the only two drivers out at this stage. You guys see Tsunoda just blasts past Ocon, like myself, but then Norris and everybody's just like, ooh, okay, let's go a little bit slower. Slowly. And basically that's when the safety car gets deployed. So it's way too early for the medium runners to come into the pit lane. But you guys can see, come end of lap 7, it started to rain. So the rain has come earlier than we thought. And everybody has got to dive it into the pit lane because we can't drive fast. We can't get rid of the standing water. It's time for the intermediates. So literally, guys, by the end of lap 6, it just started pouring down. And by the end of lap 7, it was time for the intermediates. And luckily, because I am the leading Williams, I can do my pit stop first instead of Albon. So we come in off of the mediums onto the intermediates. I actually think that I should have started on softs, to be deadly honest, but what can you do? In the pit lane, we actually get jumped.
One more stop today, one stop left in this strategy.
Thank you very much, Mark. But guys, actually, when this happened, I was like, I just should have started on softs. I would have been a little bit quicker in the beginning, and that would probably have given me the opportunity to hold on to Yuki Tsunoda. But, you live and you learn. It's the first season. It's, anything and everything can happen, and we are still learning the game. So the drivers who haven't pitted are Verstappen, Hamilton, Gasly, Zhou, Albon, Ricciardo, and Schumacher, which I don't know why. I'd rather double stack with my teammate than having to come in when the safety car restarts. Because basically, everybody from Leclerc downwards is going to have 7 positions mahala. We're going to get it for free, ne? For free, Baba, for free. Because these top 7 didn't pit, and you can't drive on the slicks anymore. It's just too slippery. And they will also have no temperature within them at all. So, thank you, U7, for making the mistake. The safety car's in, but the rest of us are going to go back to racing while you guys are quickly having a little bit of a service. So Verstappen, Hamilton, Gasly, Zhou, Albon, Ricciardo, and Schumacher, they've got a long race ahead of them, and they need to hope that there is another safety car. So here we go. We are now all the way up into P8 of this race, behind Norris in P7 and Tsunoda P6. Like I said, guys, Norris jumped me in the pit lane. But there's still a lot that can happen in this race. As let's run through the top 10 actually. Leclerc, Russell, Perez, Alonso is all the way up into P4. Bottas P5, Tsunoda P6, Norris P7, myself P8, Magnussen P9, Vettel P10, Sainz 11th, and then you've got the 7 drivers that made the pit stop, that besides the 2 that have retired, Ocon and Stroll. So, yeah, these guys are going to come from behind because basically Verstappen and Hamilton have got fast cars. I think the rest I can keep behind, but Verstappen and Hamilton, not so much. As we are currently under pressure from Kevin Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz. And Sainz is really looking to get through past us quickly. As you guys see there, he makes little to no work of Vettel. That Ferrari is just in another league at this stage of the season and the career mode, guys. So it'll be easier just to let Sainz go past instead of, trying to keep him behind, because I'm just going to lose time. But guys, look, remember, DRS has been deactivated due to wet conditions. And look, he's got the same engine as the Haas. These two teams share the same engine. But due to the Ferrari's drag reduction and just how good that car is, it draws alongside Magnussen like it's nothing. So it's a pretty fast boy McGee. And we need to be very careful, as we've already lost freaking hell a second to Norris. And guys, this is the first time I'm driving in the rain. Oh, shite, massive lockup. Basically like Magnussen did to us early in the race, but this time Sainz is on the receiving end. But not the point. Guys, this is my first time driving in the rain on this game. So this to me was a massive learning curve, unlike the AI who can just, they settle in their computers. They just, oh boy, that's aggressive turbo. Let's not have a lot of that. But basically the AI are used to the conditions immediately because they are robots. We need to adjust to the track conditions. And you guys can see with my gap to Norris within 2 laps, I'm struggling. And I'm struggling a lot. So Sainz has gotten past Magnussen because we defended a bit harshly, if I can put it that way. But I think...
Gap to the car in front is 3.4 seconds. So we're looking at another 5, maybe 10 minutes of this rain. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so guys, just a quick weather update there. But one thing that I have to be honest, guys, the reason I've been so aggressive, and it's oh, there's a yellow flag behind. Hold that thought for a second. Where's Magnussen? Where's Magnussen? There's yellow flags. Ah. Oh.
Okay, clear.
The safety car has been deployed. And for this, I'm not exactly sure what happened to K-Mag here, but he tries to go up the inside. The door is closed. He dips the wheel onto the curb, and the car just goes around, and he is a blockage to the track. Because Magnussen also received a 5-second penalty. So that's a second safety car now. I think Carlos Sainz is smiling all the way to the bank because he can just, take on everybody with the utmost amount of ease and get back into the podium positions, hopefully, for himself. But guys, now the problem is, look who's behind me. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton is right behind my teeny-weeny, itsy-bitsy-witsy Williams. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of defending here. I think we're just going to let them go. As you guys see into the first corner, Max goes for a real weird line through there, so that's why I decided to defend. But back to the story at hand, which I can't remember what it was. We talked about getting used to the conditions. I was probably trying to talk just a bunch of hooey. But yeah, guys, we are still within proper points here, so we need to keep fighting. But with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton in much faster machinery coming from behind, this is going to be a task that's easier said than done, for obvious reasons. So yeah, let's see what happens here. But you guys can see Verstappen is just, that Red Bull is an absolute beast in a straight line. There is no way you're going to keep that car behind you. No way, Jose. And then obviously Hamilton just goes past. Hamilton locks up and sends Verstappen wide and leaves the door wide open for us. What is it with the drivers locking up into that corner? It just makes no sense whatsoever. Everybody just keeps locking up into that corner. Like, honestly, guys, you're making my life so much easier than it should be. Like I said, you guys are making my life so much easier, and it's not supposed to be that easy. So let's get back to the action. We've already lost a lot of ground to Carlos Sainz, obviously, because he's chasing down the guys behind. But it's now lap 15, so the race is basically halfway. We're just over halfway, and the rain is slowly but surely starting to go away. So this time, guys, I was just like, okay, so Max, go past. I'll brake early, and then just, let you go. And then Max has a massive twitch of oversteer mid-corner, and he just bails out of the move. What is going on with the AI? Guys, make the move, get it done with. I'm really not trying to defend. There you go, Max, go past. Easy move, easy move. And, yeah, okay, well, Hamilton tries to go up my inside. I'm not going to let two drivers go past me in that section, and Hamilton runs wide. Hamilton is wide and loses 2 positions to Pierre Gasly and maybe Guan Yu Zhou. It looks like Hamilton will stick ahead of the Alfa Romeo. But what is it with all these AI mistakes? I'm the one that's usually the one making mistakes. I mean, look at Australia. We binned the car, well, almost binned the car on lap 6. So, and then now there's complete chaos behind me because everybody's just trying to jockey for position because Hamilton is just now... Oh, there's a crash there in the background. There's a massive crash. Albon, my teammate is without a left front wheel. What happened here? There's nobody close to him. Oh, there's Schumacher trying to go for a move. And Schumacher just has a... Guys, I think this corner's new name is the lock-up corner. Because Schumacher goes for the move, he locks up and takes out my teammate. For why, for what, for who, for why, for when? I mean, there is no point. But guys, the rain has stopped now at the end of lap 16. And I'm going...
Williams have made a call to come into the pits, so they'll be hoping for a fast turnaround.
Yes, we are. But guys, I'm going for the gamble of the century. We're coming in and fitting the slick tires. Because the rain is stopping, the rain has stopped, there's no more rain coming, and the track is going to dry out really quickly.
Our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
Thank you, Mark. The thing is, we need to get these tires up to temperature, and we need to hope that by some other miracle there's a dry line that starts to form. So, oh, you guys can see the tires are cold, the track is still very greasy. So you can't even put your foot down in 5th gear. So here we just go for a little bit of a ride to the outside of the track because there's no grip. And I'm just trying to get some temperature into these tires. But come the end of the safety car, at the end of lap 18, the track was still damp. So guys, what I decided to do, I was just going to let Guan Yu Zhou go. I'm going to let him go because I've got temperature, but the track is still damp. So I need to make sure that I just keep this car on the track. I'm going to be slower than everybody. It's fine. These guys can battle away and drive their hearts out. I'm going to wait until there's a dry line forming and just keep this car on the track because I am now a pit stop ahead. I've got 20 seconds in my back pocket. You got to see the tires are just starting to get up to temperature. 80 degrees is still not very hot. They need to function in between 90 and 100. But the point is I've got grip. Not a lot, but I've got grip. And we now look at the leaders as we are trying this absolute bonkers strategy. But it's Leclerc leading from Russell, Perez, Alonso, Bottas, Tsunoda, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly, and Lewis Hamilton is not even in the points anymore. But as far as this race is going, it's starting to get all and more chaotic. Anything and everything can happen with 10 laps to go. So you guys can see I've lost about 4 seconds to Guan Yu Zhou, but the track is starting to dry up very, very quickly. So all I'm doing is keeping this car in one piece. That's my main goal. I want to keep this car in one piece. So Leclerc come to the end of that lap. Will Leclerc box for a set of slick tires, or is he staying out? Leclerc staying out, Russell staying out. Perez boxes. Perez and Bottas are into the pit lane. They've seen what I've done, and they can see that the grip is starting to come back. The slicks and the intermediates have got the same amount of pace at this stage. But the good thing is now, I'm going to jump everybody. Literally everybody, because I pitted under safety car. I was a smart boy McGee, 200 IQ plays, and we are putting ourselves now in a very strong position. Because the troubles I went through under safety car and with the previous lap on the restart was tire temperature. They are going to struggle with that exact issue now. So I will be the fastest car on track as soon as everybody switches to slicks. Even though on paper I'm the slowest, but because due to grip levels, I will be the fastest. So you guys can see these guys are so far behind. Magnussen has finally served his 5-second penalty. So I think Magnussen might be a shoo-in for last place of the remaining cars. But we'll have to see. So sorry for all of the K-Mag fans. But here we go. We've still got Leclerc, Russell, Alonso, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, Gasly, Ricciardo, Vettel, Schumacher, and Perez that still need to make their stop. Oh no, sorry. And Zhou that still need to make their stops. So will they blink now? I think it's now or never. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. It is honestly now or never. Otherwise, you guys are going to have a very, very tough time for the rest of this race. Will Leclerc box? Yes, Leclerc is in. Russell is in. I think all these guys are going to be boxing, guys. Alonso is in. Norris will be in with Sainz. Or Ferrari are going to have to double stack with Leclerc and Sainz. But I think Leclerc's got a good enough gap. Sainz is not going to lose too much time. And then, look at this little itsy-bitsy spider. This little slow as can be Williams is going to maybe go into the lead. of the Miami Grand Prix. DRS has been enabled, guys. That's enough to tell you guys it's ready for slicks. But there's Leclerc. Leclerc's going to be on cold tires, and the track is not as damp as it was the previous lap, but there's still a little bit of puddles here and there. So we are leading a Grand Prix for Williams Racing. How is this even possible? How is this even possible? Look, Leclerc's got to catch me faster than you can say Ferrari, because it's a Ferrari, and this Williams is very slow. But we finally got tire temp. We've got 1.3 seconds to Leclerc, but guys, by the end of the lap, that back straight in Sector 3, he's going to absolutely school me. There is going to be nothing that I'm going to be able to do about that Ferrari. And look at his straight line speed. He takes out 7 tenths on us in one straight. 7 tenths in one straight. So Leclerc is driving like an absolute madman. And as you guys can see, we've actually got a shot at a podium. Because Alonso and Russell are 4.6 seconds behind me. But guys, like I said, you've got all these drivers coming from behind. And yeah, Leclerc is basically going to show me how it's done now. Because I don't have DRS, my car's very draggy and heavy, and there he goes. There's also no point in defending from Leclerc, because I'm just going to lose myself time. And guys, look behind me. Alonso is battling with Russell, and can guarantee you guys Perez is going to get in on this fight as well. And as soon as Verstappen gets past Bottas, and Sainz gets past Tsunoda and Bottas, we've got some very quick cars coming from behind. We've got, what's that? Lap 22 has just started. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. We've got 8 laps to go. 8 laps and a dream of a podium. You guys can see now, we look here at Lewis Hamilton at the end of lap 22, who's battling with Guan Yu Zhou. Hamilton has lost out so badly in this race. It's actually pretty sad. But Hamilton goes for the outside move on the Alfa Romeo, where his former teammate is now residing, but Zhou is not his former teammate. Zhou can only dream of a Mercedes seat at this stage of his career. But we now come back to the end of lap 23. And guys, like I said, these cars are going to catch me within 2 to 3 laps. I have a little bit of a twitch of oversteer there, and that's going to make Russell very, very much in the vibe to go for a move on me. But the guys, now I'm defending, because this is for a podium. I cannot care how far Leclerc gets into the lead. I want a podium. This is not even supposed to be in our vocabulary at this stage of our careers for Williams. It's the slowest car on the grid. What is Russell doing? What an absolutely amazing dive up the inside from the Brit. Oh my soul. Russell is not taking any prisoners, but we squeeze them out. We are still in P2, but now Alonso and Perez are going to get in on this fight. You can absolutely dip your bottom dollar that they are going to do this at this stage, because they all know it's podium time now. And you guys can see Sainz has gotten past Tsunoda, and Sainz and Verstappen are behind Bottas. As Russell goes for a dive up the inside, there's a lot that's going to happen in this little part of the race, guys, because I'm basically at the bottleneck. I am in the slowest car on the grid. Not just because of the car itself, but because of the amount of downforce I've put on this car. Literally, everybody is faster than me. Like, no cap even. I think the only cars I will be faster than is maybe Sebastian Vettel, and Lance Stroll's not even in the race. So I'm basically the second to slowest car in this race. And I'm trying to keep behind all these amazing cars, and I'm battling my hero, Fernando. Come on, me. Take it easy on me, bruh. Come on. Alonso goes for a beautiful switchback at the final corner as we were late on the brakes. But now we will have DRS on the main straight, and with this car with DRS is not too bad. We blast the ERS, we've got DRS. It's going to be 3 wide heading into the first quarter between myself, Alonso, and Russell. We go for a late braking move again. It's still 3 wide. There's a little bit of contact. Russell is off track. Alonso squeezes through the middle, but we managed to keep it ahead in P2. But here goes Alonso. He's trying a Russell up the inside of this S section. Oh my word, and Perez is just behind. He's going side by side with Russell now. Bottas, Verstappen, and Sainz have joined this fight, and pretty soon Tsunoda and Norris will join this fight as well. It is absolute chaos here in Miami for these final few laps. There's 3.5 laps to go. Literally 3.5 laps to go. I mean, what more? Oh, here goes Alonso. He's ahead of me. And we're going to go for the inside dive as we have a lot of downforce to help us. Inside dive there. Everybody is on the hard tires. So everybody has got more than enough grip to go to the end of the race. But through this very tight S section, this is basically the only corners where I was a teeny bit faster than most of the drivers. But as soon as we get onto the back straight and they are able to just put their foot down, I'm basically screwed. So you guys can see, even Norris and Tsunoda have joined this fight now. From 2nd to 10th, we are fighting. Literally, from 2nd place to 10th position, Leclerc is 15 seconds in the lead. As Alonso has a massive lockup at the end of the back straight, he sends me wide. It gives Russell the opportunity to go for a move, but he's pinched in by Alonso. Perez and Verstappen and the two Red Bulls are also here. There is just so much that can happen. Russell is into the pit lane. Russell is pitting. What has happened to George Russell? Did he make contact with Alonso? I'm not sure, but something has gone wrong here for Russell. That's a massive lockup from Alonso. You guys can see there's no contact. Why did Russell pit? That is very, 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 very odd. That does not make sense whatsoever. But guys, we come towards the end of lap 27, and by some miracle, we broke a second to Alonso, but just because he was battling with the two Red Bulls. We've got basically 2 laps to go, 2 laps to still defend, but Alonso and Perez are side by side, and oh, they lock wheels! Alonso tries to go to the pit lane, Sainz is going into the pit lane, but Perez doesn't. There's a massive crash with Norris and Hamilton, with Gasly and Bottas behind. What has just happened there? What happened? I think Alonso was trying to go to the pit lane, but Perez was not. And they made contact, and oh my word. What have we just seen from 2 of the most experienced drivers on the F1 grid? I mean, Alonso must have made contact with Perez at some stage. That will explain why I was able to get a 1 second gap. But the more Alonso tries to go to the pit lane, the more Perez says no. And then Alonso goes to the track, and it's just Hamilton, Norris, and all these other drivers are just they don't know what's going on, and they are just in the firing line. So a lot of innocent bystanders there. But Alonso is, I can guarantee you guys, he's got floor damage. Floor or side pod or some sort of damage. There's no way that car is functioning at 100% now. The two horses of Schumacher and Magnussen have played this to perfection. And look at Yuki Tsunoda! He's at P4! I mean, the only person that's pressurizing me now is Verstappen. As we start the final lap, I've even forgotten my usual, as we start the final lap of the Grand Prix. But I mean, there's 1 lap to go. We are still in P2. It's been absolute chaos like back in Australia. Luckily not as much, but still a reasonable amount. But we've only got 1 car to defend from, and that is Max Verstappen. The only problem is, that is the 2nd fastest car on the grid, according to the R&D. And this Red Bull is no slouch in a straight line. That's the problemo. So the thing is, so Tsunoda's got to get P4 for AlphaTauri. Gasly is in 7th for AlphaTauri. And look at the two horses, Schumacher and Magnussen, P6 and P8. It's an absolute amazing, it's amazing luck for AlphaTauri and for Haas. I mean, oh my soul. But guys, there's literally half a lap to go. On this little, I don't want to know what you want to call this flat out back section, I don't know, sector 2. But you guys can see, Verstappen is backing out of the move because he's playing with me. Verstappen literally closed his DRS and just slotted in behind me. Max is, whoa, that was very aggressive from the Dutch boy. But guys, he's playing with me. He's honestly playing with me. There's nothing I can do about him. But Charles Leclerc will win the Miami Grand Prix with a dominant 24-second gap to myself and Verstappen. But you guys can see on the back straight, what am I supposed to do? This is literally a little like Leclerc did to me when he passed me. There's nothing I can do. I tried to squeeze Max to the inside, but look at that Red Bull. It's an absolute rocket. I tried to go for a last-ditch effort with a dive, but we can't. But honestly, I don't care. It's P3. We take a podium for Williams and only our 4th Grand Prix.
Nice work, mate. You did really well today. I think the boss is going to be happy with that one.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. So let's review the drivers' standings. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to O'Connor. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Let's move on to the constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Another team that excelled today were Williams, who make further progress up the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Guys, what just happened? How have we managed P3? Look, I know, I absolutely bossed the strategy from going from the inters back to slicks. But P3? Look, I would have loved to have P2, but still, I mean, Verstappen and Leclerc, they themselves are just in another level, or on another level, and those cars are just in another stratosphere. So, but I mean, first of all, congratulations to Haas and AlphaTauri for some solid points. But we're in P5 in the Drivers' Championship, guys. We are literally best of the rest. Okay, no, not really. We're ahead of best of the rest. Ferrari and Red Bull are the ones fighting for the championship. Mercedes are only now starting to get there, but they are basically just as fast as Red Bull. If you guys saw at the beginning of the video with the performance chart, and yet we've got more points than both the Mercedes drivers. With one, just me. We are fourth in the Constructors' Championship with Williams. Fourth. Now, once again, I know I'm not going to stay in fifth in the drivers, and we're not going to stay fourth in the Constructors. But guys, this gives us such an amazing opportunity to try and get P7 in the Constructors. I want to get P7 or higher, but P7, P7, P8, I think is a realistic thing. It's a realistic position to get. And in the Drivers' Championship, if I am just within the top 14, let's make it with our performance now, let's make it top 13. If I can be in the top 13 in the Drivers' Championship, I'll be happy. I'll be a happy chappy, because Albon has not yet scored any points. So he is a non-factor for the Constructors so far. I'm the one carrying the team and myself. But we haven't been outside the points yet. Look, we're going to Spain next. I think that's going to be Spain without the S for us. I think that's going to be a harsh reality check. But we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. But it's been an absolutely phenomenal Grand Prix. It's been crazy. I mean, those final 10 laps were insane. The rest of the race was mediocre. It was a good race, not too action-packed, not boring, but it was good. But then those last 10 laps, I mean, it was total insanity. And I mean, we saw a lot of AI mistakes today, which I enjoy, because it makes the game a little bit more realistic, seeing that the drivers can actually also make mistakes. Well, the AI drivers. So it levels the playing field a bit for us as a player that makes mistakes. Because we are human, we are not some sort of fancy schmancy robot. But guys, we've had 2 insane episodes in a row. I don't think this was more insane than Australia, but we've had 2 incredible episodes in a row. So that has got to deserve your like. But even more than that, I think you should share this video with your friends and show them how insane this game is. It's incredible, it's insane, it's stupendous, and it should be shared with the world. Yes, it should be shared far and wide so we can get more fans. Yes, that is what we should do. But in any case, guys, go check out the links in the description down below. My social media is down there. If you really want to, please, I would highly appreciate it. Share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post or the story on whatever social media you do it, and I will give you a shout out in a future video, as well as on my personal social media. You guys are absolutely insane and amazing. But if this is your first time visiting Turbo Fox Races, and this is your first time viewing one of my videos, and you are not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never ever miss a future video here on Turbo Fox Races. Welcome to the family. You are now a fellow Turbonatic. But guys, it's been insane. It's been incredible the past 2 rounds. I mean, I don't know how we've been doing so well, but obviously, like I told you guys at the beginning of the season, a harsh reality check is unavoidable. It's going to happen. And the chances of it happening at the next round in Spain is very, very big. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but we're still going to try our best. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Like, subscribe, share, all those beautiful things. And remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers!